Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome for a out of the blue emergency type episode that I had scheduled with my buddy Frank Rizzo, aka Anthony Randazzo. However, he has not yet joined in, and I hate being late, so I went ahead and popped it in, but I didn't want to be by myself, so I got Stephen A with me. What's up, Stephen A? You just do your thing over there, Stephen A. Just chill and dance. It's all good. That's what I like. Yeah, get it, Stephen A. Every which way you gotta go. That's what's up. But anyway, everybody, happy Thursday. We're almost at the end of the week, guys. So close. I just want to thank you for being a part of Raw Sports Radio. Thank you for being on the early unannounced show with the guests that didn't come in as of yet. And if you haven't done this already, in my most serious Stephen A voice, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, that like button, and share this with your friends. And hopefully you have friends, unlike Stephen A, which gets paid by Clutch Sports and LeBron to give you a lie of a false narrative, but that's going to be on the next show at 8:30. In the meantime, while I am here at a little bit earlier time, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover the Bucks and the Pacers live right now with Stephen A. Now, Stephen A is not going to say a whole lot. I already told him, so don't worry about Stephen A. You won't have to worry or hear his nonsense until he decides to actually make himself present on this or any other show. I'd love to have him on here. I think that would be phenomenal. It would be amazing for me, but that's me. I don't know. These guys, whether it's Stephen A or whether it's Will Bond or whether it's Colin Coward or Nick Wright, it doesn't matter who it is. All these guys, when they were on their major networks, they were always talking down on the guys over here on YouTube that we weren't qualified, that we weren't able to speak to sports in a way that the you know the fan would understand, the way that they do, the way that they could get through to fans, and a fan is able to relate more so with a man wearing a tie and a suit while everybody else is wearing a uniform and it's dirty as hell. Also, to mention, in case you were curious, Stephen A did not play football. He says he played basketball, but by the way he talks, I have my doubts. But I digress. I'm just saying, Stephen A, you make me wonder, like every time, all the time. But Raw Sports Radio, it's the realest raw sports show on the internet. That's why it's Raw Sports Radio, not Wimp Sports Radio, not Soft Sports Radio, not in between sports radio. This is real, raw stuff. And when something happens to where a guest is not on time or a guest has something come up and he's not able to join us, it's not the end of the world. Or, as LeBron would say, it's just basketball. But we'll get to that during the other portion of the show. Right now, let's go with a quick update on the game. Here in the third quarter, and the game is on TNT or True TV, whichever you have or don't have or prefer. Your choice here. I'm not telling you what to do. You watch however you want to watch. You could listen to it here and get more insight on watching it depending on who's announcing. But I digress. As we all know, the series right now is being led by Indy. That's right. Indiana is leading the series 3-2. This is a do or die game, in or out, win or go home type scenario for the Bucks. And yes, we know about the injuries. Yes, we know about the ejection the other night with Bobby Portis, which I, don't believe should have been an ejection, but whatever. I'm not one of the refs. Not yet, at least. But right now, Naismith, Nemhard, Turner, Pascal Siakam, and Tyrese Halliburton are out there doing what they do, scoring how they score. They've got a 61-73 lead in their favor. Okay. And, you know, Dame is playing in case anybody was wondering, but that's, what does that mean if Dame is playing, but Dame isn't at 100%? On top of that, you're down, so now you got to lean extra heavy on Dame. And, not being at home, not having that crowd behind you isn't going to make it any easier on you. And then the worst thing about it is for the Bucks, it's not that Giannis is out. That's not it. The worst thing is Doc Rivers is still the coach. They haven't fired him yet, but it's only third quarter. 75-61 is the score in favor of the Pacers right now, who look to be, I hate to say anything prematurely because there's things that always happen. And in those instances, generally what happens is I don't want to curse anybody. I don't want to put any bad luck on anybody. So I'm just going to just keep you informed of what the score is, who's got the ball, and what's going on here. The winner of this series is going into because what is it? Milwaukee's 3, Indy 6. So depending on what happens on the next game as well, another elimination game coming up after this one. The Knicks at Philly, which that could also be the last time we see Joel Embiid trying to pull down anybody's pants this offseason, this postseason rather. But we'll see. We'll see. Right now, as the Pacers slowly pull themselves further and further away from the Bucks, right now we got 63-78. It's tough to play when you're healthy, when you've got everybody, when everybody's in there, and when you don't, it just makes it that much harder because it's not like you're playing a bunch of freshman high school athletes or the JV team or even the varsity team. No, you're playing another world class professional basketball team that has the same intention in theory that you do, and that is to win. Win, 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 win. Fuck everything else. Win, 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 win. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. But as I was saying, right now, 65-78 on the TV, 78-63 is the actual score in favor of Indy. You got to understand that what you see on the television and what they have going on in real time are two different things. So always just a little bit behind on one and not the other. But right now, this early in the third quarter, 4:45 still left to play. More than enough time for Milwaukee to be able to mount a comeback. 67-78 is the score right now, still in favor of the Pacers, but we've got it down to an 11-point lead. And even with Giannis being out, even with Damian Lillard not being at 100%, you've still got Middleton, Porter, Pat Bev, Brooke Lopez, and a handful of other guys that can step in, step up, play a role, make some shots, play that extra defense, and do what's needed to be done in order to live another day, as they say, to fight another fight and to advance and make it to potentially the second round. But in order for that to happen, you got to win this first. And in order for that to happen, you got to play good team basketball. And in order for that to happen, you got to not listen to anything that comes out of Doc Rivers' mouth and just know what you're doing and not have to rely heavy on Doc whatsoever at all. And here we have out of nowhere, like I said, we get surprises all the time. We always get good surprises. We don't get surprises like, oh, it's your baby. No, not here. We got in the background somebody special, but he doesn't ever like to take any credit to be announced. So I'm going to leave him alone, but I'll let you know that we do have somebody in there. And when he decides to make his presence known, you'll all know. And here we go again. Little update here for you one more time. Still same score, 67-78. 4:45 left. Timeout taken. Dame's got 19 points, 3 assists, 3 of 9 out at the 3-point line, and he's been playing 27 minutes for a guy that's coming off of an injury and being able to play. For one, is pretty amazing in itself, and then being able to be productive and not just stand around and do nothing is even more of a testament to Dame and how great of a player he is. But it's been a good series. Would it have made a difference having Giannis in there? Well, of course. You'd be crazy to say it wouldn't be. But the difference would be having a healthy Giannis versus having Giannis that is not at his full potential. And the only thing that happens with that, injuries, if you guys understand it, if you've ever been injured and played sports and dealt with injuries, there's a lot to it. It's a complicated thing. Sometimes it's not just black and white, cut and dry. You have to be able to understand the injury and then make sure that the injury is properly treated. And then you have to take all the necessary steps, including physical therapy. Hopefully, there's no surgery that's needed, but at times that does happen, and that just complicates things longer. And with the older you get, and this is universal across the board for everybody, doesn't matter how well you take care of your body. I encourage you to do the best you can with your body and taking care of it because it's the only one you've got. Therefore, you better do good with it. Now, this is the thing. As you get older, it takes you more time to recover. It takes injuries longer to heal. And then you have to put yourself in the hands of the medical professional, which I am not, by the way, and make sure that they give you the best care that they can possibly give you and do what they're supposed to do correctly. Otherwise, we've got a whole nother issue out of nowhere. If you think back to a few years ago when Alex Smith was playing for, what's up, Super Dave?
Match is going on, man.
What's up, brother? How you doing, Dave?
Good, man. I see your artwork wasn't on there, so I figured chip in.
I appreciate it, brother. I do. It was crazy, and I'll tell the story. I was dropping my son off Thursday night, Tuesdays and Thursdays, basketball, 6 to 9 o'clock. And on Tuesday is also art for my daughter for the same time period. And Wednesday, there's just dance for my daughter, and then open gym Monday and Friday. So we got things that the children do. And whilst I was dropping off child, I got a phone call from my friend Anthony, aka Frank Rizzo, aka Brooklyn, and he was really wanting to go on. He was real excited about it. He's like, I got time. I'm not tired. I'm ready to do it, Max. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm like, all right, listen, give me like 10 minutes. I'll put it together real quick. I'll throw on a few things. He's like, oh, yeah, I want to talk about the Chiefs. I want to talk about the Chiefs. I'm like, I haven't planned on talking about the Chiefs. It really isn't anything that we got going on as of yet. But, we can do a special Chiefs episode. I'd love to get you back on the show, get your take on things. No problem. It sounds great. So I do that, get on time, but, and I don't know what it is yet. I hope everything's okay. I have texted Frank, and I have not yet heard from Frank. But you know, I'm sure that at any moment now, he will pop up like a specter out of nowhere and join us. And if he doesn't, that's okay too, because Super Dave's here. I'm here. This is Raw Sports, baby. We make it work. We make it happen. And Frank,
Make it
he,
happen.
he loves the Chiefs. He's a big Chiefs fan, probably more so than anybody else on the planet. Not to say that I'm not a big Chiefs fan, but he will break down everything from the players' favorite drink to when they brush their teeth at night before they go to bed. That's how in depth he is on the Chiefs. And he's a for real diehard red and yellow Chiefs forever type of fella. So, but before we get on anything football wise,
So,
oh, sorry, Dave, go for it, brother.
Oh no, I was you was about to before you move on, unless you're gonna stay on the topic.
Oh,
Move
I
on.
was just going to give an update on the game, but that's all I had.
Okay, yeah. Well, I see your question, man, and I wanted to comment on your. What was the question? What was the question? Can the Chiefs three-peat?
Can the Chiefs
That's
three-peat? That is
I,
what is it. It's never been done before.
well, it seems to be like Chiefs missing ingredient was the wide receiver all last year. I mean, they got the defense. I mean, they got the offense. They got the tight end, the running back. It was just missing the explosive receiver, and now they got one.
Yeah,
We can't expect him from day one to just come out and hit the ground running as a rookie. But I think if he play hard, he run his routes right. Chris Pat Mahomes will find him.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and that world class speed.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
to even think about it. And before he got the record, it was John Ross who who was drafted right before
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, who retired last year from the NFL. Now he's thinking about making a comeback. His 40 time was 4.22, and with
And
Xavier
John
Woods,
Ross with the Jaguars. Did he play go with the Jaguars?
he was drafted by the Bengals originally, if I'm not mistaken, and
Okay.
he had problems with injuries, problems staying healthy, problems staying on the field. Uh, Never really developed into that first round talent that they were looking at, and it just didn't work out for him for whatever reason. But now he's talking about making a comeback, getting back in the league, and who knows with speed like that. I mean, that's dangerous. Speed kills, especially if you can
Right,
get
right.
onto a
The
ball.
only downside to Xavier is that he'll go up and try to attempt the acrobatic catch and make contact with the ball and everything. But he just he don't make the catches all the time.
Yeah, the
So
consistency.
it probably because of, he might hand size, but the consistency and he got a lot of drop balls. So that's the only downside to him. I mean, he an athlete.
Oh yeah,
What I saw when he played against Alabama. Yeah.
oh yeah. He
Yeah.
was the real deal. Working on his game, helping develop his craft, working on his hands, working on his routes. He runs great routes. He did that in high or college, and the catching part of it all. The speed's great. The catching part of it all, yes, it's a concern, but I think it's also something that as he works on it, and with the wide receivers coach that he's got, along with a great receiver and a tight end like Travis Kelsey, and then a veteran receiver being brought in like Marquise Hollywood Brown, I would imagine that that's going to do nothing but help him in
Oh,
his.
they brought in him. They brought in Marquise Brown.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown's a chief now, baby.
Oh wow, it's set. It's a three
It's
peat, man. It's a
it's
three
not
peat.
even it's not even fair. It just isn't.
It's a three peat, man.
It's a three-peat. That's
Yeah.
I could advocate harder for why they would three-peat versus why they wouldn't, because there's not another team that matches up well with them. As
I
far
know
as
Tom Brady got to be worried right now.
Tom Brady's probably a little, he might be because he's got a little bit of an ego, believe it or not. Anybody in that,
Yeah,
level of uh,
yeah.
excellence,
Tom Brady never three peated.
nope, nope, nope. The closest team, in my opinion, that had that three-peat option would have been the 19, yeah, the
You got
1990.
it. You're static and
You know,
the
oh, there we killed this.
wires. So there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 49ers, they won the Super Bowl in '88. They won it again. Okay, I'm turning this.
Your wire back messing up.
There we go. There we go. The Niners won the Super Bowl in 88. They won it again in 89. In the 1990 NFC Championship game, they played the Giants. It was a close game all the way through. What happened, unfortunately, was Roger Craig got the ball, fumbled the ball. Montana took a vicious hit from none other than the great one, Lawrence Taylor, and he never played again on the field as a 49er and came to the Chiefs in retrospect. And that game ended up going to the eventual Super Bowl champions of that year, the New York Football Giants. So, trip down memory lane makes me feel old, but I love it. And just a quick update, we look like we've got the third quarter out of the way, going into the fourth. Milwaukee 78, the Pacers 93. What's going to happen in the next 12 minutes, guys? I don't know. I don't know. But we're going to find out together. We're going to be here for each other because that's what we do. That's what friends are for. Through good times and bad times. Oh, and Super Dave's back in the house. What's up, Dave?
Yeah. No problem. I'm gonna be leaving in and out to help out the production. So
Gotcha,
get used to
gotcha.
that.
Yeah, and I got a couple stories I could tell also. Like I said, it was one of those things I wasn't even planning on coming on till the 8:30 start time, and talk about ball and a few other things. But the Frank Rizzo call, he was so excited. It was like, man, he got me so excited too. I'll put it together, Frank. I'll do it. Boom, boom, boom. I'm hoping he still shows up any minute now. Maybe he just, something he had to run, grab a soda or something or coffee to stay awake. I don't know. He's out on the East Coast and he wakes up early. So one of those things. One of those things. And here we go. Fourth quarter's got it started off already. Middleton going inside, dumps it back off. We got to pass to Portis, who dribbles inside, passes it back out, who passes it back over to Damian Lillard, who takes the three. No good. We got a rebound, though. Who is that? I can't see. All right, Bobby Portis. That's who we got. Bobby Portis just hit one. That was a beautiful shot by Bobby Portis. And I can't see who that is, even with the spectacles on, but I'll get to it here in a second for Milwaukee. I can't tell who they got in there. Da, 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 da. But I can tell you that Pascal Siakam just took a three, did not make it. And the rebound, was that Covington? I think that might be Covington. Let me see. I see you, Chris. I got you, Chris. There's Doc Rivers confused, thinking, is he in the right place? He's not sure. There's Dame. I'm pretty sure it was Covington. He's the only white guy on the floor for the Bucks. So it's Covington. Bobby Portis takes a shot again. This time not so lucky. Not so lucky. That's all right. Still plenty of time left. 81-96, a 15-point deficit. 10:34 left in the fourth. Like I said, plenty of time. You just got to know how to win. You got to dig deep in order to get that win. You got to understand if you don't win, you don't play anymore. That's the reality of it. And now we go back on the Chiefs here. Unless something happens, I'll let you guys know. But if you ask me, I honestly believe the Chiefs probably will not lose more than 3 games this coming season. Maybe
Sure.
4.
I definitely agree.
I just a lot of reason that I think that isn't because of the offense. A lot of the reason that I believe that to be true is because they were able to keep the main key pieces of that defense together and having that big D line that stuffs the run, that's able to not only stuff the run but put pressure on the quarterback to get him uncomfortable. Those guys are back together. Yes, we lost some secondary help, We lost Snead. We lost Edwards. That's okay. We are also known for our ability to develop secondary players and corners, DBs, and safeties. So, as much as we're going to miss those players and their contribution to the team, we feel, or at least I feel, very confident in the Chiefs' ability and their coaching staff, especially the DB's coach, to be able to put things together and get these young men ready to play day one in most cases, if they're not already. But there's also other guys that we retained that are going to be the big difference makers on that defensive side of a veteran Super Bowl back to back winning defense. The offense is one of those things that you have to really understand what you're seeing. Patrick Mahomes is able to read a defense faster than any quarterback, short of perhaps Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, that I've ever seen. He's able to determine whether or not he's got a corner blitz coming, a safety blitz coming. He identifies the Mike, Sam, Will faster than anybody else, and he's got the ability to create time in the pocket to establish himself in a position to find somebody that's moving around and open. And he's done this repeatedly since he's been a starter in 2018 after playing only one
Yeah,
game.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you as far as the secondary coach because you don't get two of the best cornerbacks in the league by coincidence.
Right. And if you look at it, Dave, we had even before that Charvarius Ward, and he's with the 49ers and played in the Super Bowl before that. He was a Chief. Marcus Peters we had for a short amount of time, but he excelled as a Chief, and he got a couple bags from a couple different teams, even though he kind of fell off. But the guys at the Chiefs have been able to develop over the course of a season or even two seasons. They've went on to do great things, shut down corners.
Uh, you see any other team putting together a roster that could rival the Chiefs?
I think that you can put together a roster that's got a lot of talent on it with a lot of big names and a lot of good players, but I don't think that they will have the same type of chemistry that this team has because of the way that they've been put together and kept together with the course of Andy Reid's career with the Chiefs. It's a winning culture, it's a winning attitude. The only knock that I've got against the Chiefs would be the off-season unnecessary bullshit that goes on, and it's not the Chiefs that's as only happens to. It's not just exclusively Kansas City that has problems. But what happens is when you are, number one, you're the big dog, you're the top dog, you're the defending champion, you're going to be under that microscope. So even players that haven't played for you for several years, like Rashad Breeland, who just got, I believe, 9 different felony charges in Carolina, ex-Chief player, made big news. He's not under any type of criminal charges because he's an ex-chief. Okay, that just happens to be a coincidence. He's got gun charges, he's got drug charges, and he's got a slew of other charges. But none of that has to do with the time that he spent in Kansas City winning a Super Bowl in Super Bowl 55 or 54, whichever one it was. It not relevant, not relevant whatsoever. Those are just called poor life decisions, not thinking things through, and then not, not, I don't know. For a gentleman like Rashad Breeland to go from being a former Super Bowl champion to going to be a wanted felon selling, they caught him with 5 pounds of marijuana, I believe it was, along with illegal firearms, riding in a stolen vehicle. That just sounds like somebody that's taken too many hits to the head and not thinking real good. Or it might have started out with 10 pounds, and that 5 pounds, he smoked it up real quick before he decided to drive in a stolen vehicle. with stolen weapons that are registered to him. It's just crazy to me how people think when it comes to that. They get a little bit of that money, a taste of that fame and fortune, and it just changes people. It's amazing and terrifying all at the same time. But money, as they say, and here's the difference. You hear people say money is the root of all evil. That is not the correct terminology. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Money is a necessity. You have to have a form of currency, an exchange of some sort, whether it be monetary or we're going to the barter system. It has something of value that is going to be exchanged or used to purchase something, whatever the case may be. So, yes, it is absolutely necessary to have money. But when money becomes your master, that becomes a huge problem. There's a difference. When the money owns you and you don't own the money, that's when your heart and your brain aren't working together anymore. One's taking over the other, and it's not supposed to be that way. So the mistakes that these young men make, a lot of it's on them. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're automatically all of a sudden put into a position of fame and fortune in the limelight, in the spotlight. You've got all of a sudden all this money. You got new friends hanging around. You got an entourage. You got to cater to them. You got to take care of them. It's almost like you might as well say you've just adopted a crew. You just adopted another family. And a lot of that also will end up getting you broke in the long run because you're not looking at it as a long term deal. You're thinking you're going to be young forever and you can do dumb shit and get away with it. And that's not the way it works. If you carry yourself properly and you make mistakes, that's one thing. If you carry yourself properly, make mistakes, don't learn from them, then you're destined to repeat them all over again. And that's a vicious cycle that is damn near impossible to break unless you really want to. And that's going to be on you 100%. You got to have a good support staff, good support system behind you in order to do that. And I encourage you to find one if you don't have one already, because if you're hanging out with a bunch of knuckleheads that don't have your best interest at heart and don't care how much trouble you get in and let you keep doing it, those aren't your friends. And you don't need to be hanging around those cats. All right. I digress. And while we're talking about the Chiefs, real quick, and I'll give you another quick update before I close my screen and go on to this. Milwaukee is down 20 points right now to the Pacers with 8:06 left in the fourth. 104-84 in favor of the Pacers. I'm not calling it yet. I did that last time. I thought I was going to see a victory out of the Clippers, but that's for the next show. We're not talking about that. I'm just giving you updates because if I schedule this show, I'm going to do this show. The show's going to go on. It's going to happen. I'm not going to make any excuses because that's not what we do at Raw Sports Radio. And I'm not going to just talk a bunch of shit in your ear without giving you some information and things to think about. And right now, let's look at the Chiefs since we're on the Chiefs. And when it comes down to the Chiefs in this draft, I don't know what PFF graded them at. I don't care. I don't, because those guys, professionals, yes, absolutely. Does that mean that they're necessarily always right? Absolutely not. But in retrospect, and we went over the draft the other day, last week, I believe, when we had Brandon on, and we touched on everybody. We didn't go from team to team to team, or we went from team to team to team and really didn't do any kind of deep dives on the draft. And maybe we'll do a deep dive on each and every team, do a little segment on that before the season gets started. And, it'll be a nice little segment we can add, and then we can work on that and see what happens. But the first pick for the Chiefs was number 28, which they traded up from the Bills. And It was wide receiver Xavier Worthy out of Texas. He stands at 5 feet, 11 inches, weighing in at 165 pounds. Now, I know what you're thinking. He sounds a little small, but you don't think that big things come in little packages? All right. Don't be fooled by the size of this man when it comes to his height and his weight, because he's got the speed, literally, of a cheetah. Ran a 4.2140, fastest in combine history. First team All Big 12 Conference, Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year, Freshman All American finalist for the Sean Alexander Freshman of the Year Award. He led the team with 62 receptions, 981 receiving yards. That's almost 16 yards per catch on average. He was tied for 8th in the FBS with 12 receiving touchdowns, started all 12 games, okay? Returned kicks, punt returns. He did a little bit of everything, and that was in 21. And in 2022, second team All Big 12, led the team with 60 receptions, 760 receiving yards, dipped a little bit in average per reception at just under 13, but 9 receiving touchdowns, little dip, 3 touchdowns. But he started all 13 games. Also, he did a little bit of rushing and a little bit of punt returning. And then 2023, this past year, came and he was third team Associated AP All American, all purpose first team, all Big 12 conference wide receiver. Okay. He led the team with 75 receptions, 1,014 yards, 13 and a half yards per catch, which got that average back up from his sophomore season. Had 5 receiving touchdowns. He ranked second in the FBS with 16.9 yards per punt return, and he was still returning punts, and he started all 14 games. Also, he had some rushing yards, not to mention, like I said, the punt returns. And he broke the NFL scouting combine record with a 40-yard dash of 4.21 seconds. Somehow they let the Chiefs draft this man. I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but I'm glad it did. And I know as a Chiefs fan, I'm excited about Worthy and what he's going to be able to do and what he's going to be able to allow Patrick Mahomes to do in way of opening up his game and allowing it to, go to that next level. I'm excited for it. So if you guys aren't, you guys crazy, or you're probably rival fans of some shitty franchise like the Chargers with Jim crazy ass Harbaugh, who likes to just touch people in the shoulder pads with his fists in a hitting motion, if that makes sense. Now look at round two. Round two, we have the 31st pick, all right? 63rd overall. Kingsley Samotaya, all right? Out of Brigham Young, offensive tackle. Brother is 6'4", 326 pounds. He was a 5-star high school recruit, state class 5A MVP, helped his team win 4 straight state titles. 21 in Oregon, he was redshirted, played in 1 game as a reserve left tackle. In 2022, he started 12 games at right tackle. And in 2023, second team All Big 12, started 11 games at left tackle, missed the season finale due to injury, but all in all, had a solid career, 3 years experience, no one and done, nothing crazy like that. He did some work. He played some games. He's got good size. He's got good footwork. He's got good speed. I think that the Chiefs definitely had a need for a quality offensive tackle, and they definitely found one in the second round in Kingsley. So I'm excited about that pick. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes is super excited too. So I'm happy. These are good things. You got an individual for your quarterback to throw to, and then you got another individual that's there to protect your quarterback so he can throw the ball to the individual that's going to get in the end zone and score your points. And we didn't have anything going on in the third round, but in the fourth round, we did end up picking up Jared Wiley. Oh, yeah, that's right. Don't, hey, listen, Baby Kelsey, that's what they call him. Jared Wiley, tight end, TCU, standing at 6'6", 249 pounds. In 2019, in Texas, played 12 games, 2 starts. And then in 2020, Texas, he played 9 games with 2 starts. Also, he missed the Alamo Bowl due to injury. 21, also in Texas, played 11 games, 8 starts, and had a couple touchdowns as well. 2022, honorable mention, all Big 12 conference, played in all 15 games, 4 starts, and he had 4 touchdowns. And then 2023, so this man obviously took his career as a student pretty serious while being able to still play football at a very high level. So that's awesome. And like I said, 2023, first team all Big 12 conference, started all 12 games, 8 touchdowns. Okay. That's serious. You got to understand this man is 6'6", 249 pounds. He's not a punk. He's not going to be easy to tackle. He is going to give you absolute hell. On top of Travis Kelsey, Marquise Brown, Rasheed Rice, maybe not, depending on when or where or what they decide to do to him. They can get rid of him for all I care. I don't need that on my team. I don't want that on my team. That's not what this is representative of. But I think between Marquise Brown, Worthy, and then old old faithful Kelsey, who is the highest paid tight end on a new 2-year extension. And I don't have all the details because I don't believe it came out as of yet. But once I do have those numbers, I'll definitely pass them on to everybody and let you know. And let's move on to the next pick. This is the 33rd pick in the, what was that? Was that still the, I'm pretty sure that was still the 4th round. Yeah, 4th round overall, the 133rd pick. It was Jaden Hicks. He was a DB out of Washington State. I love his size at 6'1", 211. In 2021, he was redshirted, played 1 game as a reserve, didn't have any stats. 22, played in all 13 games with 11 starts, 76 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. What do you have? 1 sack, 1 interception. And then looks like in 23, this past year, honorable mention, all Pac-12 conference, started all 12 games, 79 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 return. So he's got a 1 pick 6, forced fumble, block kick. That sounds like a guy that we need on special teams to help out and develop him into that DB and help him be able to contribute on both special teams and as a potential nickel back. But we shall see. I really love his size. I like the fact that he stayed in school long enough with one program to be able to have that additional experience. The longer you stay in school, in some cases, not all, is better for you in the long run. Number one, you're getting an education. Number two, if you're a good athlete and care about your education and can also maintain being able to academically excel, you can make good money while in college as a student athlete from the NIL, which to me says stay in school, get an education in case sports doesn't work out for you in way of being able to participate as an athlete, because that doesn't mean that you can't go into a different facet of it, whether it be broadcasting, journalism, etc. There's so many different things that you can do when it comes to sports and the sports world that, in my opinion, staying in school, having that incentive of the NIL, if you are able to reach that level of being that good of an athlete, okay, on top of being able to get your studies done and achieve a degree, whatever you want to do, you will always have that to fall back on regardless. And then what did I go? Yeah, we just talked about Jaden Hicks, and like I said, I think it's going to be a great addition. Fire. He looks like a chief already. Looks like it. It's beautiful. Dave's changing colors. I love that too. Cool. And then that's all we had in the fourth round. Then we went in the fifth round with the 24th pick in the fifth round, 159th pick overall, out of Penn State. The Nittany Lions. Offensive lineman. Another one. This is a big boy here. Hunter Norzad. 6'3", 317 pounds. Nice. And he's got the long hair. He's got the white boy starter mullet going, which means he's serious about playing. And here, you know what? The Chiefs, I've seen this for the last several drafts. They like guys that stayed in school for a minimum 3 years. And for the first 3 years of Norzad's career, he spent it in Cornell. 2019, second team, all Ivy League, started all 10 games at right tackle. 2020, still Cornell. School did not play due to COVID concerns. Not his fault. And then 2021, also Cornell, first team, all Ivy League, started all 10 games at right tackle. So he's kind of like the theme that I've seen so far, in case you haven't caught on to it, is the fact that the Chiefs are getting guys that have been able to stay healthy through their college career without injury and being able to play and have that availability, okay, to be there when they're called upon. All right. So we got guys that are ready to play, that have been playing, that haven't had any major injuries, I'm going to say, at this point that we know of, but they're all athletes, they're all student athletes, and they've all got potential to really do good. They've come into a great situation, and I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome, these guys. And then another pick I really liked was Kamal Hadden, defensive back out of Tennessee. Also loved his size, 6'1", 196. 2019, Independence Community College, 21 tackles and interception. 2020 in Independence Community College, school did not play due to COVID concerns. That didn't stop him from furthering his education, though, because in 21, he played in 7 games with 2 starts, 17 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, fumble for loss, interception, another forced fumble, participated in Auburn's 2021 spring practices, but then transferred to Tennessee in June. So then in 2022, with the Volunteers, tied for the team lead with 2 interceptions, 51 tackles, 3.5 tackles for a loss, forced fumble, played 9 games with 6 starts, and missed a little bit of time due to minor injury. And then this past season in 2023, he led the team with, what's that? He tied the team, I'm sorry, with 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, started the first 7 games with 19 tackles, and he missed the rest of the year due to that shoulder injury, which is a reason why he did drop down in that draft a little bit now that I recall. But at the same time, I think that the injury that he suffered and the recovery process took it seriously, didn't do anything to jeopardize it or worsen anything injury wise. I think that he did the right thing, and the Chiefs stole him in the 6th round with that number 211 pick. And, like I said, replacing guys that we lost at that secondary position. That's just what we got to do. Round 7. What do? We get another big boy, an offensive lineman out of Holy Cross. This is a big boy right here. I like this. CJ Hansen, 6'5", 300 pounds. Also, 2019, he was redshirted, played in 3 games as a reserve. In the 20 and 21 season, he played in 3 of the team's spring games and 1 start at the right guard position. School did not play in the fall due to COVID. Repetitive story again. And in 2021, started all 13 games at right guard. All 13 games. You see a pattern here, right? All 13 games started at right guard. 2022, first team, all Patriot League, started all 13 games at right guard. And 2023, first team, all Patriot League, started all 11 games at right guard and team captain. So not only is he consistent, big as hell, but he was a captain on the team and he spent, what, 4 or 5 years in college, the university, to have that degree to fall back on in case something doesn't go the way it's supposed to, whether it be an injury or you decide that you won't, don't feel like doing this anymore. You want to do something else. You've got that opportunity now, which is all the more reason why I push people to stay in the university and college, especially now, if you are an athlete, because you have an opportunity to not only better yourself and further your education at the depending on scholarships, etc., at the expense of the university and or its boosters slash government slash everything else in between, but be able to make money, real money off your name, image, and likeness. This is something that's only been going on since 2021, and it's something that I think it's excellent. Not only should these athletes have been making money long ago, because there's no guarantee that they have any type of career after their college is done, but now they have an opportunity to have an incentive to want to stay in school and further their education, especially if they're getting paid for it. So I love it all the way around. I think it's great. And while I'm on college, congratulations, Reggie Bush, for finally getting the fucking Heisman Trophy back. About time. Thank you for giving this man what he earned and deserved. Don't be stingy like that on Reggie Bush. What did Reggie Bush do to you except for get you more ratings? And that was who we got. That was the 7th round. And then here lately, we did a little bit of we signed a couple undrafted free agents. One guy that we did sign, I wish I could turn my phone on, but I can't. One guy we signed, we got him out of UCLA, running back, Carson. Oh my God, it's gonna drive me crazy. He's white and he is built like a linebacker, and it's gonna take me a second to get his name. And the other one we got, also, this one came out of the Big 12, so I'm a little bit more familiar with him. He came out of TCU, and he was a killer when he was in TCU playing for the Horned Frogs. And I'm pulling it up right now, guys. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be all extra slow. And I thank Dave in the background for all his help because it just makes it so much smoother when we work together and get things done that it's awesome. And I'm pulling it up right now, guys. I'm sorry. Thank you for being patient with me. But I'll give you, while I'm waiting for this to pull up, I'll give you a quick update. In case you don't know, the Pacers have beaten the Bucks. The final score, 120-98. Congratulations to the Pacers. Congratulations to Milwaukee. They had their backs against the wall. They never gave up. And unless you consider getting Doc Rivers as your coach as giving up. But I digress. They did the best they could do with what they had. My hat's off to them. Their season's over. Pacers get to move on. And now we're awaiting the start of the Knicks and Philly game. Another do or die situation for the Knicks, or excuse me, for Philly. Back against the wall. You're down 3-2 in the series. Are you going to be able to force a game 7 in New York, by the way, is where it would be. So we're going to see, but we're going to talk about it in the show coming up. Last thing I'm going to touch on here, guys, is real quick these undrafted free agents that the Chiefs picked up. And then we're going to take a break, give me time to recoup, get everybody else situated. I really do appreciate everybody kind of jumping in here on short notice. Dave and everybody helping out, making sure that everything went smooth because honestly, I wasn't nervous because I know we're brothers. We all got each other's back, so we help each other out. One of us happens to fall through, another one's going to step up in their place, just like the military, baby. That's how we roll. That's what Raw Sports is all about. We got each other's back. We're going to keep the show going for you, the viewer, and we're going to make it entertaining, and it's going to be fun. And bear with me because you would think I'm like the best typer in the world. I'm not. I'm not. But that's okay. Let me see here. Let me see here. Nope, nope, nope. That's not who it was. Uh, dun, dun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are good Wi-Fi connections at times, and there are bad Wi-Fi connections at times. This is one of those bad Wi-Fi connections at times. I apologize, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Here and I'll take up a few more minutes of everyone's time here just so we can get the rest of the Chiefs covered. And that'll be one thing that we've got off the list of things to get done. So, and also in other Chiefs news.
Nice. What are we looking for?
Oh, I found it right here. It's the running back Imani Bailey out of TCU, who they end up picking up. And the other guy that they got as the undrafted free agent out of UCLA is the guy that I'm really looking forward to seeing. That cat just, I can't, there it is. Carson Steele. That's who he is. Carson Steele, running back out of UCLA. I watched some film on this dude once I realized we got him. I've seen film and I watched Imani Bailey play when he was with TCU Big 12. That's just the way it is out here in the Midwest, you know. But I watched film on Carson Steele. This dude is literally a running back, but he's built like a linebacker. He reminds me of a white Derrick Henry. I know that sounds crazy, but I think this dude is real. And then we also got linebacker out of Penn State, Curtis Jacobs. And, also excited to see what he can do and what he's going to be able to bring. And aside from that, we got out of Marshall, we got the offensive lineman, another one, Ethan Driscoll. See what Mr. Driscoll can do. And then we got out of USC cornerback, we got Christian Roland Wallace. And these are all the UDFA's undrafted free agents that the Chiefs end up picking up. The next guy that they end up getting was Ole Miss QB Spencer Sanders. Not to be confused with South Carolina Spencer Rattler, because that's going to be one that you guys are going to get confused because we don't want to confuse anybody. Spencer Sanders has a invite to the Chiefs rookie minicamp. He was a QB out of Ole Miss. Spencer Sanders. And I
Yeah, well, you
believe,
you remember Spencer Sanders from he played with Oklahoma State.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. So I
he a
mean,
game. He's a
he is.
gamer.
I think that invite's going to work out well for him, but he's also got a lot of competition out there. So we'll see. And then the other one that they signed, another defensive lineman, this time another invite to the rookie mini camp, and it's a defensive lineman out of East Stroudsburg. It's Deshaun McCarthy, and I don't know a lot about Deshaun McCarthy because I had not read up on him as of late today, so I don't have a whole lot to tell you about him. But I can tell you that we did pick up Reggie Brown, a wide receiver out of James Madison, that I've watched a little bit of film on, and I like him. I think he's got some speed and some talent. I think that he could be a good target for Patrick Mahomes. Picked up a Ohio linebacker, Bryce Houston. Also, he got an invite to the rookie mini camp. And then we got Washington State defensive back Sam Lockett the third. That's right. Also got an invite to the rookie mini camp. So the Chiefs, they're constantly trying to build and look for talent and look for those guys that are going to be good fits. We got linebacker Bryce Gallagher out of Northwestern, also got the invite to the mini camp, and seen a little bit of him, One that I did catch that I really do like, Florida State defensive lineman Fabian Lovett Sr. That one, that one I love. That's Florida State. That one I like a lot. Out of Villanova, we got another offensive lineman, Nick Torres. Don't have a whole lot of info on Mr. Torres as of yet, but as it comes out, we'll keep you updated on the Raw Sports Radio Network. And another running back to add to the plethora of running backs we already have. Out of Villanova, running back TDIO Durojaye. And he got a mini camp invite. And I hope I pronounced his name correctly. I do apologize if I did not. And then out of Villanova, wide receiver Jaron Hayek also got an invite to the mini camp. And we got a kicker, Noah Rauschenberg, a mini camp invite, and he's out of North Texas. Not that the Chiefs necessarily are in need of anything kicking wise, but you never know. And then we got Virginia Tech defensive tackle Mario Kendricks. Got an invite to the rookie mini camp. See what Mr. Kendricks can do to add to that defense. And then looks like we got another punter out of BYU. Don't know much about him, but his name is Ryan Retno. I'll double check this. Rehkow. Renko? We'll call him Renko. We got Renko out of BYU. Probably the best punter that I've never heard of. And Penn State, another running back, Trey Potts, rookie minicamp invite. And it looks like Utah, another defensive back, Miles Batee. See what he can do. Those Utah guys, they're all right. I can't say anything too bad about it. North Dakota State, wide receiver Jack Mathis. I remember watching him. Got a rookie minicamp invite. I hope to see him do well. I hope that young man does real well. Here's one of my guys here, K-State, wide receiver Phillip Brooks. Fire. Don't sleep on Phillip Brooks. Somebody's going to pick him up if the Chiefs don't. Out of Charlotte, defensive lineman Iabi Oki Unama. I don't know a whole lot about him, but he looks intimidating. And then out of Oklahoma, we got offensive lineman McCade Mater. Sounds French, Canadian, but you never know. They got some big boys down there in Oklahoma. They know what they're doing. Got another Texas Tech tied in, Baylor Cup. And then I don't believe there's any relation to Cooper Cup, but until I know for sure, I'm going to say that we got Cooper Cup's brother. That's awesome. You know what? They even look alike. One's blonde. This one just happens to be, you know, not blonde. But I can see the resemblance. They got the same winning look in their eye. So that's the Chiefs in a nutshell, guys. Covered with Super Dave and Max on the first episode of tonight's show. We're going to take a little break here, guys, and we're going to be back here in about a half hour show to get on, or half hour or so to get on with the rest of the show that we had planned for this evening, where we're going to go over the NBA, the game that is currently being played live in in Philly. And I'm not going to tell you what the score is because I don't want to break any hearts. We're going to save that as a surprise for later. But on behalf of the Raw Sports Radio Network, we appreciate everything you guys do by being here, by tuning in, by subscribing, by sharing, by liking, and getting that notification bell also tapped in. Make sure we don't forget about them, all right? But listen, we're going to be back here in about a half hour or so. We got some other things to talk about tonight. A little bit longer of a night, but you know what? We got a lot of sports. This is a lot of show. We got a lot of things. We got a lot of good people here. But on behalf of Raw Sports Radio, we'll see you in about a half hour. This is Max, Super Dave in the background, the founder. Nothing but love from the Raw Sports Radio crew. And we'll see you here in about 22 minutes.